What I would ask the court to do, if it's all right, is to, let's just continue. We'll just continue it to the next pretrial, but I believe it'll resolve itself with the PTI.
Is that Morgan?
William Morgan.
21 CF 3014, the state?
The state absolutely stipulates, given the trial landscape that we have preparing for this week, that would definitely help us. So that way, if we do need to go to a motion to suppress, I have time to prep the officer that's there. But I do think that it should resolve before that.
Mainly because of the offer from the state, the PTI court agrees to the continuance, so Mr. Morgan's case is continued until May 8th at 9 o'clock.
Very good, Judge. I will talk to Mr. Morgan today.
Okay. Mr. Noakes, is that all you have?
Judge, I believe that's all I've got. Unless something snuck up.
No, sir, I think that's it.
Clerk smiling at me saying you're good.
Good.
Works for me. Have a good day.
Thanks, Mr. Noakes. Mr. Rager?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir.
There's that one case on your docket this morning is Thomas Morgan, 22 CF 2451. We have entered a PTI agreement with the state that was signed this morning, so it should be e-filed later today in the afternoon. We may need to have a control date, just make sure that's filed, and he can go meet with the diversion officer this week. If we can set it for May 8th pretrial, that should give us plenty of time for it to get filed.
And Judge, I do have the signed PTI in my hand. I just actually have to e-file it. I think I need to e-file it and send it to probation.
Yeah, e-file and CC her, I should be everything.
Mr. Morgan, it sounds like everything is the way it's supposed to be, but just where it doesn't fall off the radar before you're accepted into PTI. I'll put it down for May 8th at 9 o'clock. But Mr. Ray will tell you if you need to be here then. The paperwork goes through, which I don't have any reason to believe it won't, then it'll fall off the dock.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
Have a good day. That's all I have.
Thanks for dressing up. Thanks, Mr. Ray.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Niddle, can you hear me now? Maybe not. Mr. Niddle, can you hear me? Okay. Good. Maybe, Mr. Niddle, if you can, if you'll take your mic off mute. It doesn't sound like it. And the microphone's on over there, Mike? Mike? Your mic. Mic's on over there?
The mic's on here, and the speaker's turned up here.
Okay. Mr. Neville, can you hear me?
He's on mute.
I know he is, but he's not trying to talk. Can anybody else? Mr. Moore, can you hear me? Nope, I don't think he.
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, good. Okay. Thanks, y'all. I appreciate it. Mr. Neville, on your case, who do you represent? I just appointed you to somebody, correct?
Yes, Judge. You just appointed to a fellow, I think it's a murder case.
Yes, sir.
And I don't think I'm going to be able to take that case due to lack of resources.
Okay. Okay, and what case is that?
Keelan Jones, Judge.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was Nathaniel Riggs.
No.
Mr. Neville, right, appointed Monday. Mr. Neville, so you're going to move to withdraw in that case?
Yes, sir. Mr. Stevens sent me an email, and I reviewed the case. I've got a murder case pending in Okaloosa County. I just finished one in Pensacola. I've got another very serious case in Okaloosa. And I don't think I can devote the time that this type of case requires.
Mike, where's
I believe Caleb Jones,
Yeah, Mr. Jones?
defendant's name.
Okay, now hold on 1 second. We need Mr. Jones.
That's Jones.
Correct. Caitlin Jones. Whoever's next. Where's that? Yes.
Mr. Keach already has one of the coaches.
Well, Mr. Jones. Good, Mr. Jones, I've got Mr. Middle is on Zoom. That's his head right there before he came out. He said that he's going to have to withdraw because he's basically overloaded with these type of cases. So I'm trying to find out from Madam Clerk who doesn't have a conflict that can represent
Christopher Scott.
Mr. Scott. So, Mr. Jones, I'll see you back here. What I'll do is I'll continue your case if we haven't already continued it until May 8th, but I'm going to set it for April 13th at 9 o'clock just for a status conference. So that's a few weeks out. I just want I want to make sure that you've met with Mr. Scott or that you've seen him and that y'all have gotten together. Same way that I scheduled it for today. I'm trying to get you an attorney that'll start working on your case, okay?
Yes, sir.
So April 13th at 9 just as a status, but the pretrial conference is continued until May 8th.
All right.
Okay? Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Dunn.
Did you need me to file a motion to withdraw, Judge? I haven't filed unless I'm here.
Madam Clerk, can we do it just on the minutes?
I do have it on the map.
Okay. Mr. Nittle, if you will, if you'll do why don't you just send me a proposed order that allows you to withdraw and that appoints, what's Mr. Scott's first name? Christopher Scott as the attorney, and just say that it came up orally today, the motion did?
What was the attorney's name that you're running?
Christopher
I just
Scott.
leave it blank and you can fill it in, sir.
Okay, if you'll put Christopher Scott in there, it would help me, then I don't have to try to run it down from Madam Clerk.
Okay, is it Christopher Scott?
Correct.
I will do so.
Thank you, Mr. Nittle.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, sir. I don't see any other private counsels. Let's see about pro se's. Edward Jeffries.
Judge,
Mr.
you're hearing
Jeffries.
by Zoom.
Right, Mr. Jeffries. Hello, Mr. Jeffries.
How are you?
Good, I'm doing well. Mr. Jeffries,
Judge, this case has been continued a couple months now for Mr. Jeffries to do his community service work. Probation doesn't have any record that the community service work has been completed at this point, so I don't know where if Mr. Jeffries has any kind of proof of completion.
Mr. Jeffries, have you done the community service?
How is that possible? And I brought in my community service paperwork in January.
Probation, do you have any record of it?
I just went back, Your Honor, the office.
This is probation that's talking now.
Completion, it was continued because I only had 7.5 hours left for February. So when I completed it in February, I sent you the email as well as I sent the email to my probation officer.
His officer didn't update the computer, Your Honor, so it shows for us that it's not completed yet. I do see a note from February saying proof was sent to court, but did they send it to the clerk or his officer hasn't entered it?
Mr. Jeffries, where did you send proof of the community service work?
She didn't confirm that she received it because she said it was a Snapchat photo that she received in her email and said all I had to do was pay the $333.
Has he talked to his officer lately?
When's the last time you talked to your probation officer, Mr. Jeffries?
I haven't talked to my probation officer since December because I was supposed to get off of probation in January.
Can we talk to his officer? I mean, he needs to talk to his officer.
Okay,
I'm trying to see something, just 1 second.
so probation, you just don't have confirmation of that?
No, no, sir, and he hasn't paid his monies either. I still show $2,716.29.
Mr. Jeffries, probation saying that the $2,000 is still owed.
Judge, we had agreed, though, if he completed the community service work, and they would terminate his supervision, but that money will go then to a civil lien.
Okay.
Your Honor, would
Or
you
a
like-
judgment, I'm sorry.
Pass this to see if I can get a hold of the officer?
Okay.
If
If
we
he
can,
didn't turn it into the officer, we don't have proof of it.
Mr. Jeffries, you said that you turned in the proof of the service?
You emailed it to the DA.
Mr. Jeffries, you said that you sent it to your probation officer via Snapchat?
Well, I sent it via email,
Via email.
and the DA confirmed last month that she received it, and said it was a snap image that came to her email.
I think we talked about this when we were at the last court date, I couldn't even tell what it was. So I think we had this discussion already on the 16th, and so that's why we were just trying to make sure that the proof had gotten in. But if we can take
Jeffries,
sworn
where do you
testimony
live?
that he's completed the community service work, then the state's satisfied at that point. We don't have to keep going around and around on this.
I understand, but probation can't confirm it. Mr. Jeffries, where do you reside? Where do you live?
Jacksonville, Judge.
Jacksonville.
Can you take it to his officer right now?
Mr. Jeffries, can you take the proof of your community service work to your officer now?
Yes, I can. I still have it in my car.
Good, excellent. Okay,
And it takes me about 10, maybe 15 minutes to get to the probation office.
okay. Probation, do you want Mr. Jeffries to just show back up here this morning or at 1:30 this afternoon via Zoom?
Yes, sir, that's fine.
Okay. Mr. Jeffries, why don't you appear at 1:30 your time, 2:30 our time this afternoon, and hopefully by then probation can confirm it, and the outstanding financials will be to a civil lien or judgment, and then we can dismiss the case, okay?
Yes,
Okay. So I'll see you at 2:30.
All right.
2:30 Central Time, 1:30 your time.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you, you too. Okay, I think, then we also had Paris Pryor as pro se. Mr. Pryor was to hire a private attorney. Mr. Pryor, Paris Pryor. I don't see Mr. Pryor. This was noticed for 9 o'clock. It's now 9:18. What does the state seek?
State would request a KPS shown.
A KPS will be issued for Mr. Pryor, and the first appearance judge will determine the bond, so we appreciate y'all being here. Mr. Catalina, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I would like to have one case on the docket. Your Honor, I would like to call to the podium Mr. Orlando Troy Burley,
Yes, sir.
BURLEIGH, 21 CF 2327. Your Honor, this is going to be a plea
Okay.
as charged. In 21 CF 2327, count 1, there will be a withhold of adjudication, 2 years probation, and Your Honor, there would be no contact with the victim, $1,861.73 in restitution to Christopher Saylor, $515 in court costs, mental health evaluation, and any treatment deemed necessary. And there will be a withhold of adjudication on count 2, 1 year probation to run concurrent and not consecutive. May I approach?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Mr. Burley, if you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. Mr. Burley, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes.
Do you understand it?
Yes.
Did you discuss it with your attorney?
Yes.
Did he answer all of your questions?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes.
Did you sign the plea agreement?
Yes.
Mr. Burley, I do accept your plea. Adjudication is withheld in both counts. You're sentenced to 2 years probation in count 1, 1 year probation in count 2. They'll run concurrently, run at the same time. You'll have no contact with the victim. You'll need to pay court costs in the amount of $1,861. No, restitution in the amount of $1,861.73. And that's to Christopher Saylor. You'll need to pay the court costs, the $40 per month cost of supervision. You'll need to submit to a mental health evaluation within 30 days from today, begin any treatment if it's recommended within 60 days from today. Thank you, Mr. Burley. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Judge. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
Mhm.
Mr. McKinney, do you want to call out the folks in the gallery?
Yes, sir. I have Eric Watkins.
Mr. Watkins.
Mr. Watkins is approaching in 21 CF 2598. This is not on the jury trial docket. This is a violation of probation. So we are going to seek to continue the matter. The misdemeanor, which is the reason for the violation, is in the process of being worked and set for trial. I know that they're still waiting for discovery on the misdemeanor side of things. So I'm going to request a continuance so that they can try the case in misdemeanor court.
Any objection from the state?
No, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Watkins, do you agree to continue?
Yes, sir, please.
I'll see you back here. Do you think it'll be done by May 8th?
This would need to go on a miscellaneous day
Oh, okay.
because it's a VOP.
Yes, sir. How far out do you want to set?
I would set it for, if there's a May date that's miscellaneous,
May 11th?
that would be fine.
May 11th at 9 o'clock. So May 11th at 9, I'll see you back here.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge. Jeremy Lormond.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir.
Is this? So if Mr. Lormond is here in 22 CF 702. I'm standing in for Mr. Klein's. This is on the trial docket. It looks like there is an agreement that's been reached between Mr. Lormond and the state. And the agreement calls for Mr. Lormond to enter a plea as charged. Adjudication will be withheld and be placed on an administrative level probation for 2 years. There are no conditions. There are no conditions other than court costs, which would allow the administrative level probation. The court costs are $515. There's a $150 cost of defense. Mr. Lormond is a resident of Louisiana for probation's benefit. He is here in person today and can go meet with probation, and they will give him a map. May I hand this to?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Probation, is there a one-time fee for administrative probation?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that?
$50.
Mr. Lormond, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. Mr. Lormond, did you read the plea agreement?
I did.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lormond, in addition to probably what's written on here, is that you'll have to pay a one-time probation fee of $50. Do you agree to that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lormond, I do accept your plea. Adjudication is withheld. You're sentenced to administrative probation for 2 years. You need to pay the $50 administrative fee. The court costs $150 public defender's fee.
There is a provision that he can automatically early terminate after 1 year.
Good. Mr. Lormond, if you have done all the terms of administrative probation and haven't committed a new law violation at the 1 year mark, then your probation will automatically terminate. Okay? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Rayshawn Starks.
Mr. Starks. Good, how are you?
Judge, he is here in 22 CF 2924. Judge, this is on Your Honor's trial docket. In speaking with the state, I anticipated that the state was going to see the continuance of this matter.
Judge, my victim is no longer in the area, so, and based on the conversation with her, the other witness that I also have in the case is not going to be in town for the 2 trial weeks. So, and in speaking with Mr. McKinney, I think the plan is to try to depose the victim in the case. Up until this point, we had been unable to reach her, but based on the communication that I've had with her, I do anticipate that she's willing to return and testify at trial. So at this point, we'd ask for a continuance in the case.
Okay. So, Mr. McKinney, do you want to depose the alleged victim also?
The victim has been located in Fort Lauderdale, and that, I guess the answer to that depends on the travel arrangements, how quickly that can be put together. And at the same time, I don't want to ask for a joint continuance to waive Mr. Starks's.
Right, and I wasn't asking it for that. I'm charging the continuance to the state.
Yeah.
See, I just wanted to know, I put down and need to depose just on what.
I would seek to depose the victim, given that we have the extra time. I just don't want it to impact Mr. Starks waiving any speedy trial rules or rights.
Okay. Mr. Starks, I want to ask you if you agree to it, because the state's the one that is seeking it. I'll see you back here on May 8th at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
We'll be looking at going to trial at the end of May.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Do you have people in the gallery?
Yes, sir.
I'll hand it over.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Your Honor. Brian Morrow for Ms. Evelyn Williamson. She has two matters before the court, Your Honor. They're both VOP 17 CF 2373 and 17 CF 3033. And I apologize for bringing my VOPs in your jury trial.
No, that's fine.
I'm not sure how we got here. But, Your Honor, we're asking...
I'm sure I scheduled it. So
okay.
What do we do?
Well, my LA was very confused. She didn't know if I was new to be here, and I said that I did, but I didn't realize this wasn't really a VOP day for me. So I apologize, Your Honor. But we're asking the court to allow us to continue this matter. This was continued previously from the 2/16 day to allow Ms. Williamson to make a lump sum payment towards the considerable restitution that's still owed with tax money that she anticipated was coming in. Unfortunately, she hasn't received those monies yet, Your Honor. I've asked the state about this, and it's my understanding they have no objection.
To the state?
We would have no objection as long as, that is the good faith effort that's made, is that it's being paid.
Okay. Ms. Williamson, do you agree to the continuance?
Yes, sir.
How long do we want to continue it? When do we think Ms. Williamson may receive her tax refund?
Can we have a date in May, Your Honor, if you have one, or
Yes, sir.
late April?
May 11th
That'd be fine, Your Honor.
at 9 o'clock. Okay, so I'll see you on May 11th at 9. If Ms. Williamson pays that lump sum, then is the case going to be dismissed? Or?
I don't...
It will, Your Honor.
Okay. So Ms. Williamson,
Well, I want to be clear, and I appreciate the state's position, but for clarity, we don't anticipate being able to make it to completion. This is in an effort. The state's initial offer was $11.29 for revocation and termination. This is an effort to persuade the state to show good faith efforts, Your Honor.
okay. So thanks, Ms. Williamson. I'm glad you said that. I'll see you back here on May 11th at 9. Okay. Thank you.
Your Honor. And I do have one that's probably over Zoom this morning, Your Honor.
Okay. Who is that?
That's Ms. Altronika Aldridge. I see her there
Ms.
by
Aldridge?
name. If you can turn on your camera, your mic, can you hear us, Ms. Aldridge?
Yes, I'm here.
And it's our understanding in complying with probation that Ms. Aldridge is all paid up, Your Honor, and we're hoping that the state will move the court to dismiss this affidavit.
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct. Probation notified me that she is paid up, so we would be dismissing the VOP at this time.
Okay, so dismissing the VOP, and then is her supervision terminated, or it's just the VOP?
Yes, I agree with revoking terminated on that as well.
Okay. Ms. Aldridge, your supervision, the VOP is dismissed, and your supervision is terminated, so you're not on probation anymore, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am?
And Your Honor, that's all I have before the court this morning on your morning docket, but I do have some paperwork for the afternoon. I apologize for not getting it to the court sooner.
Yes, ma'am.
It's
Thank you.
just a brief sentencing memo. Mr. Wesley, and violation, they have not changed the box.
Okay. Okay, good, thank you.
May I be excused till
Yes,
the
sir.
afternoon?
Thanks, Mr. Morrow. See you this
Thank you.
afternoon. Ms. Afterkirk?
Judge, she is present in the courtroom. Mr. Afterkirk is approaching. Jason McKinney representing Ms. Afterkirk today. However, this is going to be Mr. Scott Klein's case. I've discussed that with Ms. Afterkirk. We would enter a denial if there's not already one that's been set, and ask for a court date to be set without subpoenas. It sounds like Ms. Afterkirk is going to be making payment, to satisfy some of the conditions.
Okay. Do we want it the end of April? Do you want it, you need that long, April 20th? Or do you want it before that day?
Judge, could we have the April 20th date?
Okay, yes. Ms. Afterkirk, I'll see you April 20th at 9 o'clock, okay?
Yes, sir, thank you. Have a good
Thank
day.
you. You too. Mr. McKinney, if it's okay with you, we'll take Mr. Cobb's case. Or Mr. Cobb? Good morning, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing well. And Mr. Cobb represents Mr. Claiborne. See Mr. Claiborne in the back, right? Here it comes right now. Okay, hold on. Now we've got Mr. Claiborne. Mr. Claiborne, Mr. Cobb is on Zoom. So what were you saying, Mr. Cobb?
I need to file a motion concerning the bond. I just got appointed this week.
No, I'm good.
And I've been talking to Mr. Stevens about the case and his parents, and I think the most pressing thing they want me to deal with right now is the bond issue. And I just need to know a date so I can get the motion filed and do a notice of hearing.
Okay. Let me ask Madam Clerk, I know we're loaded up on April 10th, the afternoon, April 13th at 2:30.
There's 8.
8? Okay. What about April 17th?
I should have opened.
Okay. So we'll set it for April 17th at 1:30.
Judge, I'm not sure what date Mr. Cobb's going to have a motion for bond done, but I need to have it soon enough that I can communicate with my victim's family.
Good.
It'll be this afternoon.
This afternoon? Great. Good. Thank you, Ms. Davis. Okay, so Mr. Claiborne, I'll see you back here on April 17th that afternoon, and then your underlying case is continued until May 8th for the pretrial, but I'll see you on April 17th.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
That's just, Mr. Claiborne, should know I'll be down to see him next week, Monday, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Claiborne. Thank you, Mr. Cobb.
Okay.
Mr. Powell, do you have somebody on the docket?
Your Honor, I had to enter a plea for Deanna Lovelace, but I emailed last night. Dan Powell on behalf of DeAndre Lovelace.
Yes, sir.
And when we set this, didn't realize Mr. Lovelace was on spring break with his kids, but
I did see
I've got the written plea. I've doc signed it to him, and if I could set another date,
For a felony or misdemeanor?
felony.
Okay.
I've got the plea and sentencing agreement, I'm sorry.
Right.
So I've emailed it, Doc signed it to him, he's reviewed it, but he hadn't signed it yet.
Okay.
So I thought I'd run down and see if I could get another date. Everything's agreed to.
Okay.
And,
Do you want to set it for April 13th at 9 o'clock?
that's fine, Judge, that's perfect. Is that okay with you? Is that,
That's good. Yes,
okay?
sir.
All right. I
So,
apologize.
Cleo Lovelace, Then it remains on the docket for May 8th for pretrial.
13th,
Yes, sir. April 13th at 9.
and we'll enter the plea. I'm just waiting for him to doc sign it. I was gonna try to get it set up by Zoom, but he couldn't do his phone where he's at in Kissimmee
Okay.
for some reason.
Okay, and Mr. Lovelace's case is 22 CF 2357.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Your Honor, and I apologize, still in the middle of that, filing all those cases. I hadn't slept about 3 days.
Oh, my gosh.
Thank you,
Mr.
sir,
Bell.
okay.
Good luck
Sorry.
to you. Yes, sir.
Judge, I had seen Mr. Michael Moore on Zoom.
Mr. Moore.
Mr. Moore, could you unmute your mic? Can you hear us, Mr. Moore?
I can hear y'all, but it's in and out a lot on your end.
Okay, let me do this, Mr. Moore. We can hear you fine, but I'm going to stop your video, and let's see if that helps, okay? Oh, you stopped it. Good. Okay, does that help any on audio? Well, now you're back.
Let's see what we got. I can hear you pretty good right now.
Okay, I've stopped your video, but if you can't hear us, let us know.
Mr. Moore, did you receive Mr. Klein's email?
Mr. Moore, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, I can hear y'all. It's in and out.
Okay.
I did receive his email. I'm willing to entertain that offer as far as the probation, but I wanted to see if we could seek sort of administrative probation. I've been over in Mobile living for 5 years now.
And Mr. Moore, I've spoken with state probation, who is present in the courtroom, and they've indicated that if you are able to provide a lease or a Florida or a Alabama identification, some bills, something that has your name on it with your address there, family in the area that can vouch for you, a boss wherever you work, anything like that, then they can transfer your supervision to Alabama and give you a travel permit where you would not have to physically move to Florida to start your probation.
Okay, all right. I don't have a problem doing that at all. I mean, it would take me a couple of days to round it up, to get that information gathered up.
Well, I know that if we enter the plea right now, I expect Judge Brown is going to be instructing you that you need to report to probation today. Can you get over here today?
There's no way for me to make it today at all. No, that's just not even, I don't think that's even possible.
What
I don't
about
have a license, I
tomorrow?
don't have a car.
Mr. Moore, what about tomorrow?
And that's on such a short notice too. I know you had mentioned that it was really for me to be there today on the, went to court, I guess, Monday, and I've exercised all my resources trying to find a way over there, and nobody's going to get me over there. I mean, I don't have the cash to pay for a taxi or an Uber to get over there.
Well, that sounds like you have an agreement that both you and the state have come to an agreement on. However, you've got to be here to check into probation. I don't see any way around that. And if you accept the plea agreement as it's set right now, you're going to have to get here today or tomorrow, and you're going to have to make that work.
Okay, I mean, is there a way to push it to say, what is your next court date, this coming up week, to where I can arrange this to be able to get down there? I mean, I'm willing to sign the deal and everything. I just got to get arrangements to get over there.
Mr. Moore, the problem is that I'm putting pressure on the attorneys, and I've got staring at me in the face on my docket trial.
Right.
And so next week is trial. That's why you've got to do it by the end of the day tomorrow. You've got to meet with probation.
Or at the most, give me until Mr. Klein can come back from vacation, to where me and him can work together to try to work something out to get over there. I know he's only on vacation for a couple of days. I mean, that would give me...
Mr. Moore, I'm going to set you for trial next week if you don't agree to, you know, and it's up to you. The only thing I can make you and the state do is go to trial.
Right. I understand where you're coming from. I completely get it. I mean, if that keeps me from getting in trouble or having any kind of habeas or warrant up until that point, to where I can work to get over there to do that, I guess we should take that route.
Okay. So you will make it here to probation before, do you close at 5 on Friday?
Yes, Your Honor, but it takes several hours to process an out-of-state transfer.
So what time does Mr. Moore need to be in your office tomorrow, no later than what time?
I mean, we prefer him in the morning because it is Friday. So we prefer him there in the morning.
Okay. Mr. Moore, can you be at probation tomorrow morning?
shoot you straight on there. I don't have a means to get over there that fast at the drop of a dime.
Mr. Moore, I don't see any other options for you. I mean, either you have the plea agreement that you can enter now, meaning that you would have to report to probation today or tomorrow, or you're going to end up on the trial docket and you're going to have to appear here in person.
At 8:30 Monday morning, if the state still has that offer to you at 8:30 on Monday morning, then you can accept that offer. Probation will be here and you can meet with them then, or we'll be looking at going to trial next week or the week after that.
If Judge Brown were to give you until Monday morning, can you get here in person to be able to meet with probation and enter the plea in person in court on Monday morning?
That would be my best option.
Okay, Mr. Moore, I'm just
That
going.
would give me the weekend to make that happen.
Okay, so for the attorneys, I'm setting it for a soft trial on Monday morning at 8:30. So, Mr. Moore, you have to be here Monday morning at 8:30. And if it's not resolved, then we'll be talking about going to trial.
So, to be very clear on the record for the state here, this is not to pick a jury on Monday morning.
Correct.
It would be for scheduling for entry of the plea on Monday morning. Is the state comfortable with that?
Yes.
Okay.
You understand soft trial?
Yes.
Okay.
So, I mean, so if he, like, what happens if he doesn't show up, that would be a case, would it not?
Correct.
Mr. Moore, so if you don't show up, they're going to arrest you. So you got to be here at 8:30.
I'm going to do my best, Your Honor. I definitely appreciate you stretching out for me there.
Okay, we'll see you Monday morning at 8:30. Thanks, Mr. Moore.
And thank you guys on the board for working with me on that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Have a good one.
You too.
And then
Counsel, if you'll approach.
it'll be me.
Boudreaux. And then the folks in the gallery, Mike, are waiting for an inmate? Is that?
We can take them after, they're not on the docket, but it's something I can address after we speak to Ms. Boudreaux.
Okay. Sounds good.
Ms. Boudreaux is here in 19 CF 3062. She's appearing via Zoom. The state has made a PTI offer to Ms. Boudreaux that I have emailed to her. She has it, and she's working on transportation to meet with probation to sign the PTI tomorrow. Ms. Boudreaux, is that still the plan?
Ms. Boudreaux, your mic's muted, just so you know, we can't hear you. I'll ask you.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize it.
Now we can hear you. Yes, ma'am.
But yes, I'll be here tomorrow.
Okay. And your mother's going to be bringing you over here?
Yes.
Okay. So Jason McKinney, on behalf of Scott Kleins, who's representing Ms. Boudreaux, this is going to resolve with the PTI. It sounds like it's all worked out. I would ask that we take it off of the trial docket and just have a control date to make sure the paperwork is signed. It sounds tomorrow.
No objection.
Okay. So what I would suggest is let's just leave it on the May 8th, and we aren't creating another date. But Ms. Boudreaux, if you sign that paperwork tomorrow, then it'll fall off the docket, okay?
Okay.
So make sure you follow through on that, and then we'll be in good shape.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good weekend.
Thank you for the same.
Thank you. jumping the gun on the weekend. Okay, Mr. McKinney, folks that are in the gallery.
This is Joshua Mills. Mr. Mills is approaching the 22 CF 3021. Madam Clerk, he's not on the docket. Judge, he did recently fail to appear. I believe it was unintentional. I believe he might have even sent a letter to the court. I'm asking the court on behalf of Mr. Kleins to consider withdrawing the capias and placing this back on the May 8th court date for pretrial. I believe he attended on pretrial the 13th via Zoom, but he did not appear on docket day.
I didn't hear him on the 20th.
That's okay.
Mr. Mills, it means a lot that you're here today, but you're pulling up the docket.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm trying to pull.
He failed to appear on the 20th. The next day, once he figured it out, looks like he was emailing Mr. Kleins.
Good. And that means a lot too.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, I truly didn't mean to, sir. That's my bad. Sorry.
Do you have one of his cards? Okay. Okay.
Mr. Mills, the capias is withdrawn.
Thank you, sir.
So what are you seeking for it to be set for May 8th?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mills, I'll see you back here on May 8th at 9 o'clock. If the state offers you something between now and then that you want to accept, if you want to avoid about 300 or 400 people, you can enter that at a hearing, and Mr. Kleins can set a hearing for that.
Okay. Most definitely. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, the folks in back. Okay. Okay, so you still have folks on the 9 o'clock? Sure. Okay, let's do that.
Judge, that's Mr. Stewart. If you want to go ahead and pull him out, I was in touch with Mr. Stewart about the case.
Okay. Thank you.
I believe Mr. Stewart is the party line.
Yes, sir, that'd be fine. Yes, sir. And your name is?
Mr. Riggs.
Thanks, Mr. Riggs. So, Mr. Riggs, I believe that I appointed Mr. Stewart to represent you in the state.
Judge, I reached out to Mr. Stewart after court on Monday regarding Mr. Riggs' case, so that way Mr. Stewart had ample time to be prepared for today. He is out of the country at this point, but he also said that he is like, he has a conflict in the case, and so will have to withdraw from the case is the expectation.
Okay. Mr. Riggs, then I need to get that motion from him either orally or in writing, and then I'll appoint another attorney to represent you. I think your underlying case is continued until May 8th, correct? But why don't we set it for April 13th at 9 o'clock?
Yes, sir.
Do you know how long Mr. Stewart's going to be out of the country?
I think just this week, Judge.
Okay. So April 13th at 9 o'clock, just for a status, to make sure that you and your new attorney get together, and then I've appointed one. Okay.
That's right.
Good. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Next one is Dana Nelson with M.
Thank you. Hello, Ms. Wilson.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you? How are you doing? Yes, ma'am.
Judge Jason McKinney, on behalf of Ms. Melson today. Ms. Melson is represented by Mr. Kleins. I believe the state has an announcement.
Yes, Your Honor. We had subpoenaed the victim and a couple of witnesses, both for not only this trial but also depositions. No shows at the depositions. We tried contacting the victims and any witnesses multiple times, left voicemails. We have not had any contact, so at this time the state is going to be dismissing 4622 CF 001855. That would keep, it still keeps 22 CF 2857. That's still on the docket, but as it concerns this case that was set for trial, we have had no contact with the victims or the witnesses, and so we will be dismissing this case.
Okay. Ms. Melson, case number 22 CF 1855 is dismissed. So then the only case that's left on the docket is 22 CF 2857. The state's not ready to try that?
And I'm willing to take that to court, sir.
Okay, you want to try it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
I've got to verify this because you know I'm a little wacky. So it would be felony battery, criminal charges, criminal mischief, petty theft, large, and carrying concealed weapon. These are all dismissed.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. I didn't know I had taken sir, I have a charge with the U.S. Marshals, and I do have a signature bond on this driving. I got a $500 signature bond. You think that I can go ahead and just get everything wrapped up, and like get there and then get over to the military people and
Does the
present
state
myself
have
to
an
them?
offer for Ms. Melson on the driving while
That's
license?
not at this time, Your Honor. I would need to review everything. I have not.
Right, and then I could maybe get a bond there, and then
I will, given I have cleared a lot of time for the next week, so I think if we wanted to set it on a date closer than 5/8 for the driving, I would have time, hopefully over the next week or two, to be able to look at.
It's just whether Ms. Melson wants to stay in the jail on knowing she has a signature bond, hoping that she gets an offer from the state in this case before she goes into federal.
that'd be fine, sir, if I have to. I'll do what I gotta do. And how long will I be there?
I don't know about the marshal.
I mean, how long will I be here with discharge?
You would come back to
Because
court.
I've been held on discharge for about 4 months now.
You would come back to court on May 8th.
May.
But the state is just saying they're gonna make some offer to you, Mr. McKinney. So here, Ms. Melson, you're gonna have to make your best decision with Mr. Klein's information. The state's gonna make you an offer at some point. The state's indicated it'll be within the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
And then Mr. McKinney can immediately set that for entering of a plea. If it's before the end of next week and we have criminal jury trials going, then they can bring you at 8:30 that morning and we can talk about the plea.
Well, I have witnesses and everything on from my end.
Okay.
If you sign the signature bond and go into federal custody, write Mr. Klein a
That way I don't have FTE. I'll just stay in jail, I guess, until I come back.
That would be the smart thing to do.
All right, thank you all. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
You too.
Thank you, Mr. District Attorney. I'm glad you didn't find the boys.
Next will be Matthew Midley. Matthew Midley.
Thank you. Hello, Mr. Medlin. Good morning.
Judge Jason McKinney for Mr. Midley. I'm standing in for Mr. Kleins in this case, 22 CF 1939. I believe the state has an announcement.
Your Honor, this is unfortunately another situation. We had subpoenaed the victim for depositions as well as some of the witnesses. I have left multiple voicemails on both of the phone numbers that I have for the victim, asking for her to get in contact with me. We have had absolutely no contact, and so at this time we're going to be announcing a dismissal of this case.
Mr. Medlin, your case number 22 CF 1939 is dismissed.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Judge, Mr.
Sorry, this is it. Will I give credit for
Mr. Darren Patton is before the court in 22 CF 2797. This was passed over to this docket for the state to review. It sounded like Mr. Klein's counteroffer for Mr. Patton to be designated YO or youthful offender, which would require, or not require, would allow the state to withhold adjudication in this case, which is normally a mandatory adjudication. Mr. Patton wants to maintain his plea. Now I'd ask the state to announce the terms, since I don't have that on a written plea agreement, but I believe that the state is in a position to agree to sentence Mr. Patton as YO and withhold adjudication for the same terms that were announced in court last time.
That's correct, Your Honor. I believe the terms that were announced last time in court were 2 years of probation. There would be a withhold because he will be sentenced to YO, so he would allow for the withhold. We would reserve jurisdiction for 90 days to determine the amount of restitution. It would be $615 in court costs, $100 cost of prosecution.
$150 cost of defense?
Yes, $150 cost of defense.
Okay, not the $100 cost of prosecution?
Yes.
Okay.
And $40 per month cost of supervision?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and that's on each count to run concurrently?
Yes, Your Honor.
Count 3 is a
Misdemeanor. So
first degree misdemeanor?
We would just do time served on that.
Okay, good. Mr. Patton, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. So, Mr. Patton, here's what I understand, is that if you want to accept the state's offer, you would be sentenced as a youthful offender, so it would be a withhold of adjudication. That'd be on counts 1 and 2. Count 3 is time served. You'd be sentenced to 2 years probation in those 2 counts to run concurrently, run at the same time. You'd have to pay $40 per month cost of supervision. The court would reserve jurisdiction to determine the amount of restitution for 90 days if the state filed a motion or a petition. You'd have to pay court costs and a $150 public defender's fee. Is that what you wish to do?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you're waiving your right to a trial by jury? You have to say it. Okay. You have any questions for me or your attorney or the state?
No.
Mr. Patton, I do accept your plea. Adjudication is withheld as a youthful offender and you're sentenced to time served on count 3, 2 years probation on counts 1 and 2 to run concurrently. You'll need to pay the $40 per month cost of supervision. The court does award restitution, but reserves jurisdiction to determine the amount of that restitution if the state files a motion or a petition within 90 days from today. You'll need to pay the court cost, $150 public defender's fee. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you. Thank you, sir.
And Judge, for probation, he does have a hold for Pinellas, and I've instructed him that he needs to report to probation in Fort Walton Beach immediately upon his release.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Judge, after speaking with my victim in this case, he is now out of state in Virginia. He, although still adamant that the battery occurred, he is not willing to return for trial on the case at this time. So at this point, the state is left in a position that we have to announce a null cross.
Okay. Mr. Stevens, your case number 22 CF 2583 is dismissed.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next is Mr. Thomas, Peyton Thomas.
Thank you.
Peyton Thomas, I believe, is followed by Mr. Bolton on the 200 copy.
Okay.
Judge, this is Mr. Peyton Thomas. Mr. Thomas is before the court in 3 case numbers, 22 CF 543, 22 CF 410, and 22 CF 471. We'd announce this case ready for trial, and I'll ask the state if there's any updated offers at this point, but at this point, we are ready for trial.
And that was going to be on the 22 CF 471 case?
I believe it's the 543 case, which the state wants to go forward on first.
Okay. To the state?
That's the plan, Judge. We're prepared.
Okay, any offer to Mr. Thomas that you intend to withdraw today if he doesn't accept?
Yes, Judge, there's no offer at this time.
Okay. So, and we're going to try this next week, correct?
We're looking at Thursday, Friday of next week, Judge.
Okay.
And for Mr. Thomas's benefit, that would be likely picking the jury on Thursday, starting the trial on Thursday, and it could go over to Friday if need be. Is that the plan?
That would be my anticipation.
Okay, so, Mr. Thomas, that means that I'll see you Thursday morning at 8:30. The attorneys will get me some proposed jury instructions and a verdict form. I'll do my homework before that. And we'll have Venari. How many do we need on the Venari?
Standard 22.
Okay.
I think standard 22 would be fine.
Mr. Thomas, that's just the number of people that the jury selected from. So I'll see you Thursday morning. We'll be going to trial Thursday, and if it goes into Friday, then we'll do that too. Okay? Thank you, sir.
Will the other 2 cases just track along, or are they being?
I would just continue. Do you want to just continue those 2?
Unless the state wants to try those too.
We're just going to go forward with the 543 this cycle.
So those 2 will be continued until May 8th. Okay. Just where follow. Okay. Yes,
Okay.
Okay. They're shuffling folks back and forth next door, so we'll take a 10-minute recess, and then we're going to bring in Mr. Bulgen with his attorney, and then the 130 inmate. Okay. Good. Thank you.
All rise. Court is now in recess.
It's not working out.
At Powell, Powell & Powell, we are a family of lawyers working together as a team for our clients. For more information, visit us online today at www.powelllawfirm.com.
This is Tiffany Woodham, State Farm's newest agent in Crestview. I'd like to personally invite you to stop by my office on North Verdon Boulevard for a no-cost policy review. Let me help you start saving today. Call in, walk in, or click in at yourcrestviewagent.com.
Check out the soaps, bath bombs, and other bath and body products, all made by hand with natural ingredients at Hub City Soapery. Visit us at 1092 North Verdon Boulevard in Crestview or shop online at hubcitysoapery.com. Hub City Soapery.
Hi, I'm Amanda Gaskin with Briarpatch Realty. Helping qualified heroes save money is my passion. When I help a hero buy or sell a home, they receive a check from Homes for Heroes. Check out amandasheroes.com for more information.
Hi, everybody. This is Alex again from the UPS store. Maybe I can let you in on a little secret. Did you know we're open on Sundays? Yeah, since February, probably one of the best kept secrets in Crestview, we're open on Sundays from 10 until 3 p.m.
Thank you, please be seated. I can't get in the back door because the key badge doesn't work. I need a hard key and I didn't work. We're going to do a couple things, Mike, before we get going.
Mr. Moore not here, we'll start with.
Two things. One is the ear in the sky. The court reporters asked Mr. Gomez if you'll speak in front of a microphone and not stand up and walk around. I know you're being respectful to the court, but they can't hear you, okay?
Yes, sir.
And then also, Ms. Davis, on Robert Rice, gotten a preliminary okay from court administration. They went back and forth on that. I asked if I needed to bounce that off the chief, so I'll stay on that, but hopefully we'll get a good word this afternoon.
Ms. Jacob and I were in touch yesterday after receiving emails from you, so we had expected other information, so I'm glad to hear that that's the situation. I will let her know.
Good, please do. It's very encouraging.
Mr. Pryor in the courtroom, I believe the court called earlier.
Okay, Mr. Pryor, if you'll approach or come to the lectern. Good, Mr. Pryor. Mr. Pryor, why were you late?
Because my employer did not have my check at the office yesterday, so she had to make other means for me to get it to make the final payment to the office. So, but I do have proof of services.
Good.
Yeah.
The KPS that I issued this morning is withdrawn.
Thank you, sir.
Get that out of the way first.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so to probation, that's where you gave the money, is that what
No,
you
so
said?
this is what I was supposed to show proof of obtaining legal services
Oh,
for my
okay.
representation. You set me on the docket for May 8th.
I did, right, you were gonna hire a private attorney, so
Yes, sir.
who's representing you?
Jeff Earlwood.
Okay. Okay, and how do you have proof?
See,
What is that?
it's a receipt for legal services.
Okay. Please, Mike, if you don't mind showing that. When you say legal services, then I think of Northwest
Yes,
Florida Legal Services.
Oh, no.
Right, understand. Okay, and so that was that just for a consultation? Or
No, it's a contract for representation. I can have her, the secretary fax over or file a contract if you would like.
I just need, what I need him to do is file a notice of appearance.
Yes, sir. I was told he was on his way here from South Florida, but he just told me to go ahead and get with his secretary. So I'm not really sure how that works out, but okay. I can
the receipt shows $550.
Yes, sir.
I doubt that's going to be.
No, it was the rest of the initial payment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What does the state wish to do? And again, if you can be seated, I know that's going to be hard for you to do, but just so you're close to the microphone.
I would request that we can continue to the 5/8, but I think we just need to instruct this defendant to make sure to tell Mr. Arrowwood to file that notice of appearance as soon as possible so that we can get the discovery out to him so that we can move the case forward.
Good.
Do the notice.
So then the state can get to your attorney and then you start working on the case.
Yes, sir.
So if you'll ask him to file that no later than the end of next week.
I will ask him as soon as I leave this courtroom.
Sounds good. And I'll see you back here on May 8th at 9 o'clock. If the state offers you something that you want to accept before that, and you don't want to be here with 300 or 400 other people, then Mr. Arrowwood can set a hearing before that day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thanks, Mr. Parker.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. You too. Yes, sir.
Josiah Bolgen on the 2:30 docket with us tomorrow.
Brian Mark, Mr. Bolgen, this afternoon, Your Honor. This is 20 CF 976.
I apologize, I didn't think we were calling this case until 2:30. If I could have a little bit of time with the paperwork, and then we'll get this case settled.
Sure. Yes,
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Bulgeon, I'll see you a little later. Okay, thank you, sir. We on the 1:30 docket?
Judge, this is Mr. Kevin Ponte.
On the 130 docket, if you're, that was number 10, Kevin Bundy.
He's on the arraignment docket for 1:30. And Madam Clerk, is that both case numbers, 22 CF 2981 and 23 CF 395?
I do apologize. Who is this?
Kevin Ponte.
P-O-N-T-I.
I only have one case number.
Right, only the 395 case.
And Judge, in that case, we would acknowledge the receipt of a 5-count information, waive its formal reading, enter a plea of not guilty, and ask for it to be scheduled on the next available pretrial date, which I believe is going to be May 8th. And I would ask that it track along with 22 CF 2981.
You said 5 counts. I've got 7 on the docket. There's only 5 counts in the information.
Judge, I see a 5-count information that was filed in 23 CF 395.
Okay. Just be aware for Mr. Ponte, I'm not sure what his bond was or anything, and see if those other 2 counts make a difference too. Okay.
Yes, sir. I'll make note of that. And while we're here on the record, is the state in a position to make any offers to Mr. Ponte?
At this time, the state would offer, and this would resolve both of the cases, both in 23 CF 395 as well as 22 CF 2981. The offer would be a guideline adjudication of guilt to the charges as they are pled, with a 36.225 month guideline sentence.
Thank you, Judge.
Ponte, I'll see you back here on May 8th.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
On the inmate list, if you'll pass Ms. Romero, she won't be seen until 1:30 by Zoom. Next is Mr. Simmons, Nicholas Murray Simmons.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Jason McKinney on behalf of Mr. Nicholas Simmons in 23 CF 417. We would acknowledge the receipt of a 2-count information and a plea of not guilty, waive formal reading of the information. And this is scheduled for May 8th. We'd like to keep it on the May 8th docket.
Mr. Simmons, I'll see you back here no later than May 8th. If your attorney wants to file a motion before that, we can set a hearing before that.
May 8th is going to be. As soon as I get the discovery from the state attorney's office, we're going not today. Take it with you.
Next is Mr. Swan approaching.
Thank you. Oh, Mr. Swan. Good, I'm doing well. For some reason, I had stricken your name off of my docket after I looked at it.
It looks like he's represented by Katie Jacob, Judge. He has 2 cases, maybe what happened.
He actually has Mr. Stevens, and there was a not guilty plea filed.
Okay, so that's why you were removed, Mr. Swan. So I'll see you back here no later than May 8th. If Mr. Stevens wants to file a motion or any other hearing before that date, I'll see you then.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Next is Isaac Woodard.
Oh, Mr. Woodard.
How you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Judge, this is Mr. Isaac Woodard before the court in 23 CF 327. We would acknowledge the receipt of a 2-count information, waive its formal reading, and enter a plea of not guilty. This is scheduled for May 8th court date. I would ask Madam Clerk if we could track along his violation of probation case, which is 22 CF 2504, on May 8th with his case that we just entered a plea of not guilty to, the 23 CF 327.
just looking at the new charges, I was gonna ask the state if they have an offer for Mr. Woodard, but with the VOP. I'm
It's
not sure
either
if you do.
guidelines or drug court.
Okay. So, Ms. McKinney, try to look at drug court, I would think.
Yes, sir, and that's something I've discussed with Mr. Woodard already.
Yeah.
So we're gonna explore our options. If we're able to reach an agreement, or if he comes off this docket, we'll then, before May 8th, we'll certainly endeavor to do so.
Mr. Woodard, I hope, if the state's offering drug court, I hope that you give that serious thought. They've got a lot of different tools that I don't have, okay? They really may hold you to task, but.
I went too fast last time. My living situation changed, but I think I got it under control now.
Good. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir, I appreciate it. Thank you.
So we covered all of the cases on the 9 o'clock docket, and we just have one trial going?
Yes, sir. It sounds like just the one trial with Mr. Thomas Thursday and Friday of next week.
Right. Anything else we want to do as far as criminal hearings, anything other than those days before? Because I know that different judges throughout the circuit have been asking for help. So before I say I'll go with Escambia County or do anything, okay. Just throwing it out there to you.
Yes, sir, because you will have the second week without anything.
Exactly. Right. Okay. Yes, sir. Mr. Martin?
Mr. Bolden, approaching.
Ryan Martin for Mr. Bolgen, Your Honor. This is 20 CF 976 Alpha. The case is a VOP. We're going to be entering an admission with a negotiated plea. The terms of the plea are that we would ask the court to revoke and terminate the probation, sentence Mr. Bolgen to 1129 in the county jail on count 2, that's fleeing and eluding, with credit for all time served. On count 4, we'll ask the court to sentence him to a consecutive 6 months in the county jail, consecutive to the 1129 on count 2, Your Honor.
Okay, wait, you're bouncing all over the place.
Okay.
You're jumping between 2 and 4. And
yes,
you
and
gotta
because
start
it's all the misdemeanors, 1, 3, and 5 were time served at the initial plea, and I apologize if that's
on
confusing.
count 1, what's he being sentenced to?
I'm sorry, Your Honor?
Count 1, what is he being sentenced to?
All of the misdemeanor counts, he was sentenced to time served when
so
the plea
what
was
counts?
initially taken. We're only here on the felony charges, Your Honor, for the VOP.
That's count 2 and count 4.
Right.
Okay.
I'm
So
sorry
we're
that that's a little
two
bit confusing.
And 2 is 1129, and
Yes, Your
remote supervision. Count 4 is 6 months consecutive.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
We would ask for a $100 VOP fee, $150 cost of defense, all financials to be reduced to a lien 1 year after Mr. Bolgen's release.
Okay. And then he's got $40 per month cost of supervision, right?
We're asking the court to revoke and terminate,
Yeah.
Your Honor, and impose a jail
6
sentence.
months. The 6 months is Okaloosa County Jail. That was worked out.
Yes, I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Nope, not your fault. That was mine. Good. Thank
I
you.
just want to make sure for the record, it should be a total of 18 months total in Okaloosa County Jail. And this is a downward departure for the purposes of legitimate uncoerced plea bargain.
Okay.
We agree, Your Honor.
Mr. Bolton, if you'll raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You can put your hand down. Mr. Bolton, did you read the plea agreement?
I did.
Do you understand it?
I did.
Did you discuss it with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Did he answer all of your questions? Are you satisfied with his representation? Did you sign the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bolton, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. You're sentenced to 11 months, 29 days in the Okaloosa County Jail on count 2, 6 months in the Okaloosa County Jail on count 4. That's to run consecutive for a total of 18 months, Okaloosa County Jail with credit for all time served. You need to pay the $100 cost of prosecution, $150 public defender's fee. The prior supervision is revoked and terminated. If you fail to pay those financials within 1 year from your release from the jail, then they'll go to a civil lien or judgment. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
Appreciate it.
And Judge, we will be providing a score sheet after this.
Good, thank you. Anything else this morning, Mike? Anything else we can do this morning? Or? So we'll do the balance of 1:30 at 1:30 and then do the 2:30 after that. And
on behalf of Ms. Romero, she's got a thing to do with behavioral issues. So if they're too bad, then she probably won't appear, but just letting you know.
And she's on the docket without an attorney?
Correct.
In jail?
Correct.
thank you. And we're in recess until 1:30 this afternoon. Thanks, y'all.